What's up, guys? Tyler Vaughn with Pathology Performance. I wanted to go over another guy's swing that I really like watching. I'm a Braves fan, so Mookie Betts is fun to watch, but also you hate to see him come up in the postseason. Thankfully, things turned out well for us last year. But in general, he's just a really fun guy to watch. He's very accurate with the barrel head, and he does a great job of squaring balls up that are in the strike zone. One of the highest percentages of hard hit balls on pitches that are strikes out of anybody in the big leagues. He's not a huge guy, and so for me as a smaller guy too, this would be someone that I look up to as far as creating the barrel head speed that he does and hitting with the amount of power that he hits with. So I wanted to roll through some things that he does really well. The first thing that I want to highlight is hand position. So he does a really good job of creating separation. I think that helps him with his barrel head plane, and it also allows him to hit in a big window. That also creates lag, and that lag allows for more torque. So if you watch, even as he gains ground into his toe tap, you see those hands just sit on that red line, right? He hasn't gained any ground with his hands, even though his lower half has moved forward. And that is just a testament to his ability to stay back relatively, as well as just to create tension from that back shoulder to that lead hip. And again, to maximize energy, you need that stretch to really transfer force from the lower half to the upper half. And as he starts to create rotational force with his hips, the trunk is what's going to connect the upper body and the limbs to the lower half. So if he really starts to drift forward with those hands, you start to lose a little bit of that. And I think the biggest thing for him is he just does not sacrifice any of that as he starts to move forward, which is really cool to see. And it's something that I really tried to stick with when I was hitting in college. So now he's at toe touch here. You see that his back shoulder is above his front shoulder. So he's got that nice attack position. Most of his weight is still stacked in that back leg, even though he's getting ready to get to foot plant. And so now he's going to start to create rotation with the hips next. And even still, and this is part of the reason why he's such an elite hitter, even still, with all the separation that he's created, he still does not allow those hands to move forward until the back hip starts to rotate, right? He gets that nice rotational move to really create that stretch. You can see the wrinkles in his shirt even. His head is nice and still at this point. And now what's going to happen is the back elbow is going to slot in, right? So once he slots in that back elbow, he creates that nice high plane with the bat. And I think for guys that are wanting to hit with more accuracy of the barrel head, that is a very important feature, right? This bat is still up here. He's not back down here at this point. And you'll see major league guys who are really trying to lift the ball, true pull side or power hitting guys, they're going to already have that barrel head a little bit lower because they're trying to get the ball up in the air. And for Mookie Betts, he's trying to hit low line drives. He's trying to get balls into the gaps. And if they travel out of the park, they travel out of the park. But I would say in general, he's more of a double to homer hitter versus a true elevate type guy. So you see the barrel head position here. As we continue to roll forward, he does a really good job of keeping that tall. I'm going to freeze this here and take those lines off. And then I want to just track, we'll go back and look at the front elbow in a second, but let's just track the barrel head path from the time it goes into the strike zone. Okay, so theoretically, he could probably make contact all the way back here. The result is not going to be ideal if he hits the ball back there, but this is where his time in the strike zone starts, and we'll just track how long his barrel stays in the strike zone. Okay, so here we go. We'll move on forward. Here comes the barrel head. He's in the strike zone this whole time. It's not going to follow that line exactly because it's rotational, and he's got a little bit of a uphill plane to the swing, which you'd want to match the downhill plane of the pitch. And so now he's made contact right off the lead foot. This pitch looks like it's a little bit kind of down and in. And now watch as he stays through this all the way through contact, right? He's just now getting towards full extension of the back elbow, and he is still on that line, right? So if you talk about hitting in a big window, he's got pretty high chances of squaring a ball up somewhere in the strike zone if he delivers, right? If the ball gets elevated, it may be a little bit more difficult for him. And I know I remember a specific at bat with Tyler Matzik pitching where he elevated multiple fastballs in a row. And when guys are throwing 96 to 98 miles an hour, if they're getting up above that belt line and up above the belly button, it can be very difficult to get the barrel head there. But if Mookie Betts can get something down in the zone, belt high or below, he is going to be in the zone for a very, very long time. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so successful. So let's roll this back. We're going to get to the front elbow next. So he started to make his move. The back elbow leads the delivery for the hands. You're going to start to see that front elbow working up and out, believe it or not. So if I draw a line here, he's going this way with the front elbow. If that front elbow does not elevate, he's going to have a very difficult time staying in the strike zone because the lead elbow is going to have to start locking out, right? And when that happens, you're going to get that rollover position of the barrel head, and it's impossible to stay in the strike zone. So by clearing that lead elbow up and out, it allows you to get inside of the baseball and then deliver through the inside with that back arm without just flailing away with that lead shoulder and that thing going towards the third base dugout. So there is an element of rotational a rotational move with the upper body, but if that lead elbow does not come up, it's going to really intensify that, and that's going to be a problem as you start facing higher levels of pitching or as balls start getting thrown in to you as a hitter. So now the lead elbow is working up and out, and now you're going to start to see the lead leg, which was soft at foot plant. This leg is going to start to stiffen as he delivers through the strike zone, and that's going to help to clear the hips the rest of the way and allow him to hit behind the baseball, okay? So what I mean by that is his body is not still leaking forward. He's turned his weight around, and you'll start to see that knee snap into extension. Look at how high that front elbow is now. He's still got that nice bend in the back elbow. And then the last piece of this is look at how late his barrel is delivered by his hands. So he's not rushing to get there. He's still behind the hands as he works through, and then once he figures out where he wants to be, then you see the barrel head accelerate at the last second, and he's going to drive through. I've seen a lot of guys spend a lot of time on kind of doing, like forearm curls, things like that in the gym. I think it's great to have great forearms, but I'm not looking for a swing that is all forearm generated. It's going to generate a lot of topspin ground balls if you're out in front, and it's just not going to promote hitting in a big window, right? So if you have that strength, that's great, but I'm not going to focus on a real forearm-centric swing. That should just be the last piece of the puzzle. So Mookie Betts does a really, really good job with a lot of things as a hitter. Obviously, he's been an all-star multiple times. He's got it figured out, and guys will go through ups and downs, but I think a lot of the consistency that he has is generated by his ability to maintain separation with his hands and then just the purity of his delivery and staying in a big window at contact or through contact. So this is definitely somebody that, as a young hitter, I would love for people to watch and try to emulate. It's a very condensed swing. Obviously, not everybody's going to be a leg lift kind of guy, but watching a little bit of a smaller hitter create the torque that he does is pretty fun. So, not necessarily as big of a stride as someone like a Dustin Pedroia, but he definitely generates a lot of torque, and I love his accuracy at the plate. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Just a couple of things I really like to look at in hitters. Obviously, we're not all going to be the next Mookie Betts. A lot of that's God-given. And so I think things that we can do to be as efficient as we can as hitters are important. And if we're teaching hitting efficiently is important because we obviously want guys to get as far as they possibly can within the game. So, like I said, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll look forward to the next one. All right, thanks.